Hello everyone, I am Navy Kiwi 22 and welcome to my video on a level 20 Warden on Lord of the Rings Online. This is a Gambit and skill reference video. This video is just for a reference only, and also I am new to the Lord of the Rings Online, so my understanding of the skills and everything that the game has to offer is definitely not at expert level. I'm just a beginner to the game. But I decided to create this video primarily because it helps me to organize things for myself, and I like to be organized, and my guess is that other people also like to be organized, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. Alright, so to begin with, we have Warden building blocks. So the Warden uses this Gambit system that primarily is using a combination of 3 skills to create other skills that have better and good benefits. So we have Quick Thrust, which allocates a red gambit. We have Shield Bash, which allocates a green gambit. And we have Warden's Taunt, which allocates a yellow gambit. So these are our building blocks, and all of these are combined into a gambit panel, which is then used to perform the gambit using the gambit default skill. So first we start out with the ability to use 2 gambits combos, and then as of level 20 we're now able to use 3 gambit combos. And then we also have this skill called Recovery. This is basically where it resets the gambit panel, so in case you made a mistake or something. But honestly, I don't really use Recovery because I'd rather use whatever gambit I do have on there, because it gives me extra damage or it gives me a buff or whatever. It's better than having nothing, so I don't really use Recovery. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. We'll see. Next are Warden stances. There is the melee one and the ranged one. I primarily use In the Fray for melee, and then the Settlement stance is for the ranged one. You can only have one of these on at a time. I guess it's kind of useful if you want to be able to switch between like being ranged or being in, up close and personal. But with the Settlement one, we have these Javelin skills. We have Hampering Javelin, which reduces the target run speed by 30%, which can be useful. It does have a cooldown of 20 seconds though, so probably should only be used for like really powerful mobs or something like that. Then we have Ambush here, which does a 5-second knockout, and it gives you a 50% run speed. But I don't really use either of them because I primarily stay in the fray. Then we also have, under Warden Training, we have Careful Step, which decreases your run speed by 50% and it facilitates your ability to ambush. So it basically helps prep you up to set up an ambush. I've never used it because I really don't like going slower, especially because of how big the game is. I primarily keep Forced March on because it gives you plus 38% out of combat run speed, which can be pretty helpful if I am deciding to not use my horse. And then we have First Aid, which gets rid of like a damage over time effect or something like that against you. And we have Steadfast, which gets rid of a crowd control skill that's done on you. And then we have Shield Slam, which interrupts things, and it has a 20-second cooldown. Basic Gambit. This is one of the newest skills, which removes one corruption effect from the target and does a little bit of damage. From what I heard, corruption effects are basically these enemy modifiers that damages you or harms you in some way. It's just interesting. That reminds me of like a Path of Exile 2 rare mob modifiers or something like that. But that's what I heard it corruption effects are. In order to use the skill, you need to do red, yellow, green. Next, we have areas of effect. The first one that we get is Goad. It targets up to 5, and it just does a flat amount of damage, and the combination is yellow yellow. Another one that we get fairly early is Warcry. Targets up to 10 targets, and does a small amount of damage of 228 damage over 24 seconds, and the combination for that is yellow green. Then we have Brink of Victory over here. The max targets for this skill is 6, and it does a 312 damage over 24 seconds, and the combination to use it is yellow, green, yellow. Between Warcry and Brink of Victory, you get about 540 damage over 24 seconds. This next one is relatively interesting. I have not been able to use it. It's one of my newest skills. It's called Fierce Resolve. It targets up to 10 targets, and it's basically like a leech in a way. So that you drain the enemy of moral, and then you gain that moral, or a majority of that moral back. So against one enemy, it's, well, if you do up to all 10, it's 310 HP healed over 16 seconds, and 400 damage done over 16 seconds, which is pretty good. It's pretty cool. These are single target damage over times. We have power attack, which does about 744 damage over 32 seconds. The combination to use it is red, green, yellow. We have piercing strike, which does 426 damage over 18 seconds, or about 756 damage over 32 seconds. The combination for that is yellow, red, yellow. And we have precise blow, which is 318 damage over 18 seconds, or about 565 damage over 32 seconds. The combination for that is yellow-red. And with all three of these combined, it does about 2,000 damage over 32 seconds. One thing to note, it does seem like Piercing Strike does a bit more damage than Power Attack. However, I tend to use Power Attack first, primarily because it has that longer damage over time duration as opposed to Piercing Strike. So it lasts longer, and that's why I generally use that one first. And then, oh, yeah, that's a typo. This is actually an AoE, a flat damage. Both these, combination strike and defensive strike, can target up to 6 enemies at a time, and they're both physical. Combination strike does somewhere between 106 damage and 221. And the combination for that is red, yellow, red. Offensive strike does between 137 and 207 damage. The combination for that is red and yellow. Then we have our interrupt skills. Here's the shield slam again. Cooldown 20 seconds. No gambit. Then we have the boot. It's single target. Both of these are single target. Does a substantial amount of damage as well as interrupts. And the combination for this is red, green. So then we're getting into our buffs. The first set of buffs is for parry. We have Impressive Flourish. This grants us plus 89 to parry rating and does a little bit of damage. The Gambit combo is green-yellow. Ready Blade gives us 51 parry rating, gives us immune to disarms, and a little bit of melee damage mitigation. The combination for this is green, yellow, red. Then we have our evade buff, which is Maddening Strike, gives 89 plus to evade rating, plus does a little bit of damage for the combo of green, yellow, green. Next we have Block. From Shield Up, it gives us tactical and range damage mitigation, as well as 51 block for the combination of green, red, yellow. Then these two we've already discussed before, but I brought them together just to show that they are both damage mitigation. Between these two, Ready Blade and Shield Up, it gives all three mitigation types of melee, tactical, and ranged. And one thing to note is that they don't do any damage. They're the only skills of Warden that do not do any damage at all, which I find interesting. Then we have our heals. Our heals are Persevere and Safeguard. Persevere does a smaller heal of 142 moral over 9 seconds, but it also gives us an incoming heal modifier. The combination to use this is green-red. Safeguard gives us about 50 more moral to heal, and the combination for this is green, red, green. These two skills I kind of find a bit useless. I think that they are primarily here in the event that you do the wrong combination for the gambits, like you accidentally use 2 red or 2 green or something like that in a row. And I think that that's primarily why they are there. But these are both very, very weak. And it says so in the skill. A weak strike and a weak shield attack. But one thing that I have noticed is that Gambits seem to not reset if it has dealt the killing blow to an enemy. For example, let's say I killed a wolf with combination strike, and the combination strike goes into cooldown, but it does not reset the Gambit panel. Instead, I could use it again once the attack, once the cooldown is finished, and the cooldown is basically nothing. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure if that is like a bug or if it was done intentionally like that to help out like at least a little bit with the Gambit system, since it's so button mashy. 3 buttons mashy. But anyways, damage mitigation buff Gambits do no damage, but everything else does. The boot seems to be better than Shield Slam for interrupt, primarily because it has no cooldown and it does a good amount of damage. And recovery seems to be a redundant skill because, one, I would rather do something than to do nothing. But yeah, that is an overview of all the skills and gambits that a level 20 Warden has. And if this video has helped you in any way, please like. And if you have any comments, like any tips or whatever for a Warden, I will gladly take them. Anyways, until next time, thank you for watching.